My name is Bill. Welcome to the Night Terrors Weekend Show. And we're starting right now. Folks, this is the new show schedule. One show a week on Saturdays. It's multicast to both YouTube and Twitch. One Night Terror show, one live Night Terror show a week. However, we are still keeping the Wednesday night movies, as you can see from the schedule. And Gotcha Man will be guest host this coming Wednesday. I'll show you those features in a second. Eldergrown says, Showtime. Welcome, Eldergrown. Welcome, Taco. I've seen a small copyright ding from last week's show. It was not a one that affected monetization at all. But it turns out that I guess a podcast we listened to during the Sergeant Warhorse show had copyrighted music on it, which played for about 30 seconds, and that got me a ding. But as I said, does not affect monetization. Those coming movies coming up on Wednesday. Let's see, where are they? Here they are. I hope I'm on the right thing. Yes. 4D Man and Island of Terror. 4D Man, of course, starring Robert Lansing, who learns how to pass through walls. Pretty interesting movie. It's a good movie. And Island of Terror, which is a really creepy British movie that moves along at a really good pace, and I'm sure you'll enjoy that too. That's coming this Wednesday, hosted by Gotcha Man. Philip Blair has arrived. Welcome, Philip, and Thomas Torino. Taco, thank you for the contribution. Thanks to Oh No, It's Taco. Much appreciated, ma'am. Let's see what we have here. Support the show. Oh yeah, we do support the show banner. That is right here. You'll see all this exactly as it appears in the description below. Venmo and Cash App you can support with. You can simply buy me a coffee. Of course, the gold standard is and always will be Patreon, the gold standard of support for the channel here on YouTube. Next up is, don't forget that the old shows are now being streamed on Rumble in order, Monday through Friday at 12 noon Eastern or 9 a.m. Pacific time. That means if you're at work, you can still watch a classic Night Terrors, which may be new to you. And finally, this is a viewer request show. But we're going to start with a pre-prepared topic, the Portal topic, as you saw. Eldergon says, I'll have to go watch those. Absolutely. Check them out on Rumble. Put my numbers over there. We will be taking viewer requests, but I am going to start with a topic that I selected from a viewer of the past. I did not save their name, unfortunately, but it is the Portal topic. We're going to start here at steemit.com with an article written by Godflesh entitled Portals to Other Dimensions. And Godflesh begins. Taco says, oh yeah, portals. In many ancient cultures, there are testimonies that speak of the faith of mankind and the existence of precisely defined places on our Earth that lead to other worlds or other dimensions. Are these only myths? Recently, the FBI and NASA reports have been published in which it is openly assumed that gates are hidden in the Earth's magnetic field. The Gate of the Gods in Peru, and there it is right there. Let's take a closer look. This looks like a high-def picture. An image, a new tab. There it is right there. Let's get a higher definition view, shall we? Of the portal of the Gate of the Gods in Peru. Here's a very close-up picture right here. There it is. Looks like there's right in the middle, it's an indentation. That's interesting. As if that was a reference point for something to be fixed inside the altar here. Interesting stuff. In 1996, a researcher named Jose Luis Delgado Mamani studied the area around Mount Mark in Peru. He learns from the local tribes that the door of the gods is a passage to the land of their deities, where they're under the influence of local people's stories, whether or not, I guess, that he's supposed to say, or ought to have said. Mamani claims that one night he was dreaming of a pink marble path that led him to a small door that opened in front of his eyes. Well, this would qualify. Quote, a brilliant gray light cast a ghostly tunnel in front of me, says the researcher. End quote. The door of the gods are actually two doors forming the letter T. The size of the large door is, it says here, 7 by 7 meters. Well, that's pretty big. Where's that for scale? You get an idea for scale. 7 meters? Yeah, I don't know if we're talking about the same door, people. A human is like, what, 2 meters tall? Let's open image, a new tab here. For scale. Ooh, that's nice and high def. Look at that. Yeah, that's more 2 meters by 1 for the large one. Or 1 meter by 1 for the large one. And the small one, 1 meter in height. That's correct on the small one. According to the legends, the big door is for the gods. The little one for the people. In the 16th century, Spanish researchers virtually plundered much of the wealth of the Incas. According to mouth-to-mouth legend, a priest named Amaru Maru escaped from his temple with a valuable golden disc. The locals called the Key of the Gods. With it, the priest found the door to the gods, which was guarded by shaman priests. He showed them the disc, and after the ritual, they let him go inside the tunnel. This description largely coincides with the story of the Mamani researcher. About his dream, it's difficult to say where the boundary between legend and reality is, but the door of the gods is a material artifact. Next up, Abu Ghraib, Egypt, site of the infamous mistreatment of prisoners. The Abu Ghraib Temple, which is located not far from Abu Sir Pyramid, is considered one of the oldest buildings on the planet. I wonder how you, I don't know, that's the whole building right there, right? The Abu Ghraib Temple. Let's check that one out. There's got to be a longer view of this, right? I guess a building you can't enter, perhaps? Okay, here's, I guess, the way it used to be right here. Open image. So that would have been a building. Several different views of it here. Mostly featuring these circular cisterns. There's the one that we saw. It says, discovered a lost sun temple. Where's that one in relation to the big guys? Taco, correcting my pronunciation. I've always heard Abu Ghraib. That's Abu Ghraib. Perhaps it's a different place. Yeah, it seems to be spelled different here as well. My apologies, Taco. Abu Ghraib, we'll say. Not the site, the infamous mistreatment of prisoners. They call it the Sun Temple here, so who knows if it's the same place. Again, yeah, okay, here we go. Not really a temple, more of an altar is pictured in the article. Assumably, that's close to the temple, which is located not far from the Abu Sir Pyramid. Has a core in which lies a crystalline platform that says it vibrated in unison with the vibrations of Earth. According to legends, it could find selected stars, or the star door, the path to sacred energies of the gods. Such a legend has the people of the Cherokee tribe, considered an indigenous people of America. According to the esoteric, the Cherokees are actually primitively describing formless thinking beings that came to Earth by sound wave. There's also one assumption for this translation that the creatures in question come to Earth from the star system Pleiad, or the Pleiades. Ancient stone construction in Lake Michigan. In 2007, when searching for a crashed ship in the lake at a depth of 12 meters, so this is underwater, scientists discover a stone building whose age is set at 9,000 years. This I gotta see. Its age is equivalent to Stonehenge. On one of the stones of the underwater, there's an image of a mastodont, a species that disappeared 10,000 years ago. The artifact's location is classified under a treaty with indigenous native tribes who do not want visitors in this place. Many scientists are skeptical about the date of the archaeological find and do not believe it as a gateway to other dimensions. The fact is, however, that the place coincides with the so-called Michigan Triangle, named after the disappearance of vessels and people at the same coordinates in Lake Michigan. I wonder if they have any more pictures of this. Ancient stone construction, Lake Michigan, USA. How are we going to find that? Ancient stone construction underwater, under Lake Michigan, right? Let's try to change into under. See if we can get some more pictures. Under Lake Michigan. Oh yeah, here we go. Check it out. You gotta be kidding me. Look at this. Oh, I like these pictures better. They're more big. These are better. You gotta be. There's a post here with a lintel. 2 posts with a lintel. Still erect. That's incredible. Thank you, Taco, for the suggestion. Zerthian says, that's beautiful. No doubt. I got Taco's suggestion. If you want to make a suggestion, make it flashy. Like put a whole bunch of highlighted, put in like Night Terrors a bunch of times so it's highlighted a few times. It'll draw my eye. Thank you, Taco. Stonehenge discovered under Lake Michigan. More standing posts. Oh, in a circle. Isn't that groovy? There's that mastodon. And that's all they got? Here's another one. Ooh. You gotta be kidding me. This is the same thing. 9,000-year-old Stonehenge-like structure in Lake Michigan. There's a freaking, some kind of structure with archways here. Almost like a Roman aqueduct. Look at that. That is just incredible. If they knew how to construct arches 9,000 years ago. Amazing. Eldergone says everybody's got to have their own triangle. It helps with tourism. Welcome to X-Files Espionage TV and Thomas Trevino. Welcome to Jordan Cogburn. Did the Romans come to Michigan? Good question, Taco. That's going to be your second suggestion. Maybe your first. Thank you, Taco, for suggestion number 2. That is just incredible. There's a view from the top. Doesn't show much, though. Well, let me show you. Another Stonehenge circular construction, evidently. But those archways? You got to be kidding me. There's one that's kind of odd. Looks almost like a curved wall. Look how regular the dimensions of that wall is. There's a right angle right there. You gotta be kidding me. The bottom of Lake. Well, that's a shipwreck. So a shipwreck that looks like a lost city. Also at the bottom of Lake Michigan, however. And looks like that's about it. On one of the stones, there's an image of a mastodon. I said that already. The artifact's location is classified under a treaty. Oh, I read the whole thing. All right. Next. Of course, Stonehenge. One of the most famous stone structures on the planet, writes the author, which is also discussed as a portal. Historians believe that Stonehenge was built about 5,000 years ago, with stone from a mine located 386 kilometers from the site. And how much is that in real miles? I'm going to guess, my guess, 250 miles. That's my guess. According to geologist Brian John, there are no remnants of a career. That's got to be a Freudian slip. Rather, they are the remains of an ancient city, he thinks. In August of 1971, a group of hippies disappeared at Stonehenge. The media sparked interest in the antiquity, saying there might be a connection between the disappearance of the hippies and the legends of a portal to other dimensions. Let us search for that story. The hippie disappearance. There are reports of eyewitnesses about how at 2 a.m., when people disappeared, there was lightning in the sky and a strong storm to follow. A policeman and a local farmer told that they saw the gray light emitted by the stones, and then they heard the shouts of the hippies. When they went to the place in the morning, they found only their tents. And what self-respecting hippie would abandon their tent? I know we have a search here somewhere. We'll just go to all. In August of 1971, the legend and unbelievable history of Stonehenge. At thetourguy.com. Take control of your data. Necessary marketing, no. Oh, this is nice. They let you choose what cookies you want to eat. Functional statistical. I'll take functional. Approve. Oh, necessary. I'll approve that. Save on a purchase. At the Tour Guy. Do we know the name of the Tour Guy? It's a travel blog. About us. I guess it's a some kind of corporation. Who's the tour guy? We like having guy in our name because it reinforces that we're not just a company. And evidently they're a company. Now, where's that story? There we go. On a hot day in August of 1971, a small group of traveling hippies decided to camp at Stonehenge. They pitched tents in the center of the standing stones. You can't do that today. They imbibed in some alternative adult recreation and pontificated on the meaning of life. A storm rolled in later that night. Thunder boomed from above and lightning struck. The stones glowed blue, it says here. The light was so brilliant that witnesses across the field had to avert their eyes. But they heard screams coming from the collection of tents. When the storm cleared and it was safe to venture out, people ran over to help any survivors. Instead of finding unalived or unaliving campers, they found nothing. All that was left of the campsite, and here it says, a single smoldering tent, and letters and journal entries scattered by the wind. The campers had completely disappeared. This urban legend is a favorite, told and retold. Okay, that's that amount of detail. Do you have more detail? At the nightsky2.org. Disappearance of the Stonehenge hippies. Location, Wiltshire, England. In the early morning of a day on August 1971, a small group of young adults set up camp in the center of the Stonehenge structure. A freak storm that had blown in over the Salisbury Plain struck at approximately 2 a.m. Thank you, Taco. You see, that's what you got to do. Do what Taco's doing if you'd like to make a suggestion. We got it, Taco. Thank you. The disappearance of Tim Molnar. That looks like a real interesting one. I think that's number one. Lightning struck nearby trees and even the stone monoliths themselves, which were reported by several witnesses to have glowed a bright blue, which caused them to avert their eyes as they heard screaming. Later investigation into the reported screaming revealed no remains of the group, and only their smoldering camp equipment remained. Their purpose was twofold: to party like there was no tomorrow, but also to consume the spiritual vibrations which allegedly surrounded this architectural marvel. Welcome, Gotcha Man. By the way, guys, we're about at the half hour. Coming up on the Wednesday night movie, is the 4D Man with Robert Lansing, a really good actor. A man who can pass through, gets bit by a radioactive spider. No, that's Spider-Man. Anyway, something radioactive happens to him, and he can pass through walls and stuff. Gotcha Man with suggestion. Thank you, Gotcha Man. Got it. Followed by Island of Terror on Twitch only. Around 8 p.m. or so, the story goes. The travelers pitched a number of tents and got the party underway. The group was identified to be... they have 5 names here. Ms. Julia Ashton, Mr. Lucas Adams, Ms. Sherry Wilson Jr. How could it be Ms. Jr.? I don't know. Mr. Daniel Wilson and Ms. Wilma Rupert. In 1997, a journal from Daniel Wilson was discovered in the nearby area, speculated to have been accidentally dropped on the way to the structure. 3 notes from other members of the group were discovered singed but fairly intact, approximately 4 miles from the original campsite, speculated to have been blown away from the tent, unseen by investigators. And it's about coming up time for that topic change. This sounds like a good way to go out, though, on this one. The transcript of the journal entries that relate to the trip is as follows. A couple of buddies and I took a trip yesterday, and we just talked about the usual. We left a couple of hours later. Next entry, talked to Sherry about the trip we might take. She was really into it. Following journal entry. After doing work for a month at Mr. Jacobson's farm, we have money to buy stuff and gear. On out to Stonehenge. Everybody's packing up for tomorrow morning, but Wilma is still shaky. Around a week ago, she said she had another dream. We were at Stonehenge camping, and it got so bright that nobody could see anything, and we ended up somewhere cold. Following journal entry. Okay, we're here. Lucas is setting up the tent. It's after dark, but the sun is still lighting up the sky. The journal entries end here. The transcripts of the 3 letters are as follows. The guys brought an adult substance. Can you believe that? I thought we'd just take a trip down to this place and have a nice camping trip, but no. They had to bring that stinky stuff here. Men just don't know the first thing about manners. Letter number 2. Daniel and I were using an adult substance. It's times like this when us 5 are together, away from our families, when you can relax the most. Letter number 3 from Wilma. It's raining. I knew there'd be rain. There's always rain when the blue glow comes. Eldergrown asks if the sun is still lighting the sky. How can it be after dark? Next up, from Taco. Let's get rid of some extra stuff here first, shall we? What was this? I don't even remember. I'll get rid of that. That's out of here. We'll keep that. Get rid of this and this and this. Keep the dictionary. Well, for some reason that says translate. Google Translate. We'll keep Google Translate. Go there. We'll keep that for pictures. Boom, boom. That's a nice one. Boom, you're out of here. You're out of here. Oh, the Internet Archive is temporarily offline. I tried to look up on a website, but right before airtime. And no. Let's refresh it, see if it's here yet. Nope, they're still down for some reason. They say these are different... Oh, please check our official accounts for the latest information. It doesn't give alternatives. There may be no alternatives to the Wayback Machine. Anyway, we'll try it maybe later. And Taco's idea is the disappearance of Tim Molnar. Let's answer with AI, which is the same thing. Timothy Michael Molnar, a 19-year-old aeronautical mechanic student from Daytona Beach, Florida, disappeared January 24th of this year. No, I read 04. I saw 4 and I thought, oh, 24, no. 1984, only 40 years ago, folks. He was last seen leaving his home to attend class at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, but never arrived. Key events. Tim dropped off his 14-year-old brother Frank at junior high school that morning. He was supposed to attend class, but instead drove back home. Loaded his bike into his car and drove off. His prized vehicle was found abandoned in Washington County, Wisconsin, several states from his home in Florida. A body was discovered in a pine plantation in the same county within the year, with clothes matching Tim's missing case. Investigation and leads. Family friends of the investigating officer's family found a skeleton, later identified as Tim, in a park area while searching for antlers that had been shed. The connection between the unidentified body and Tim's disappearance was made, and the case was reopened. A possible link to Richard, arrested in 2001 for SA of a child, was explored due to his presence in Wisconsin and Florida, where Tim was from. Cold case status. Tim Molnar's disappearance remains an open cold case, with the investigation ongoing, despite efforts to identify his whereabouts and circumstances of his death. The mystery surrounding his disappearance persists. Wow, that is really freaky. Unsolved Mysteries Wiki, huh? Usually wikis are short. Oh, I'm going to take a risk here. Eldergrown says, Wisconsin represent. You bet, Taco. Tim Molnar. We can't play that. Timothy Michael Molnar. Yeah, there's some more details here. The night after Tim vanished, his family received a phone call. When they picked up the phone, there was no voice on the line, only static. They believe he may have been trying to call home, but got nervous and hung up. 2 weeks after he vanished, his family learned that on the day of his disappearance, he stopped at a gas station in Lake City, Florida, and paid for a tank of gas with his parents' credit card. His family was told by the gas station attendant that he was traveling alone. 4 months later, they received a letter from an auto impound company in Atlanta, Georgia, which stated he had left his car in a parking lot 6 days after he initially vanished. Him or somebody else. The lot was just 1 block away from a Greyhound bus terminal. So the guy, whoever drove it there, knew he was near to someplace he could get out of there quick. or after hours of waiting. Tim's family, well, that's the gold standard Greyhound is. Tim's family found his driver's license, wallet, credit card, and other items in his car, suggesting that he had changed his identity, or that he was no longer with us. They also found that several expensive items from the car were missing, including a stereo, his expensive tool set, and a bicycle. They are uncertain whether he chose to disappear or if something else happened to him. For some reason, he took no clothes with him other than the ones he was wearing. However, just before leaving, he took out nearly all of the money from his savings account, except for leaving $10 in it. Possibly a way of saying that he would return, or that he would be returning. Now, over a decade later, Tim's family believes he is still alive and want him to come back home. If he does, he would be heir to a $50,000 fortune, or enough money to buy an electric car, as a relative passed away just days after he vanished. I wish there was a reward. This case was first aired on the November 17th, 1995 episode of Unsolved Mysteries. Oh, it's the Unsolved Mysteries Wiki. It's at unsolvedmysteries.fandom.com, by the way. Results unresolved. When the case re-aired a year later in '96, a viewer named Stephen Cull called the telecenter. He recognized Tim clothes as ones he had found on a body frozen in ice in a secluded wood in Neosho, Wisconsin, 10 years earlier. After he contacted the medical examiner. Thank you, Green Tea. Green Tea with a suggestion. That's a good one, Green Tea. Okay, now we have enough suggestions, people. If we do a half hour for each one, we have enough right now. After he contacted the medical examiner, they contacted Tim's family and received DNA samples. Through DNA testing, the body was confirmed to be his in November. So it was 12 years before they confirmed his identity. Well, they knew that was his body. The keys found with the body were determined to match the locks on the Molnar home. That's odd that his car keys were separate from his house keys. How many people do that? Car keys separate from house keys. Despite the identification, the cause of Tim's death could not be determined. There were no signs of trauma. Nor could anyone determine how or why he traveled all the way. He traveled to Florida, right? It says here he traveled to Wisconsin. I thought he started in Wisconsin. Oh, he traveled to Wisconsin. I'm thinking a girl was involved. That's just a gut instinct. He traveled to Wisconsin from Florida. His family held a memorial service for him and had him buried in Daytona Beach. Sadly, his parents have since passed away. Mother Helen in 2004, and his father Michael 12 years ago in 2012. They have here links. Tim Molnar on Unsolved Archive. Tim Molnar on coldcaseworld.com. MA wants to comfort families of missing adults. Missing adults. Law hampers search for missing adults. Family still holds out hope. Florida man. Discussion of Tim Molnar. Tim Molnar, Find a Grave. Let's do Find a Grave first. Now let's look at a couple of these others which might be more detailed. Cold Case and Unsolved Archive. Find a grave. Timothy Michael Tim Molnar. Looks like there's 2 images. Oh, there's 7 images. Can we just open this up? Open image in new tab. Can we do that? Wow, that's low res. Suppose we click on it. Better. Timothy M. Molnar, beloved son and brother. May God rest his soul. Not quite making it to his 20th birthday. Until we meet again. Where's the other one? Why doesn't it go back? Oh, I see. That's down. I don't know where. I'm mystified by Find a Grave here. Oh, we got X out. Okay. And here in dappled sunlight. Now, what are the 5 other pictures? 3 of 8, it says. 3 of 8. Thank you, Taco. We do have enough topics. We have reached our, if we do a half hour for each, but I'll save that as an emergency. Thank you, Taco. This we've already read. Oh, problem loading page. Come on. Oh, that's a web archive page. That's because web archive is down. As we saw over here somewhere. Yeah. Refresh. Still down. Geez, I hope it's not down for weeks. That would rot. How about the other source? coldcaseworld.com. When he didn't come home that night, his parents knew something must have happened. Tim always came home at exactly the same time. The boy's father and mother called all his friends to see if they knew where he was, but no one had any idea. Worried as they were, they called the police. That same night, the family received 2 phone calls. With the person on the other end of the line not speaking, they wondered if it was Tim. In the days after the disappearance, relatives of the boy hung flyers in the city, hoping for a lead. About 3 weeks passed when the family received a bill from a credit card company for a payment at a gas station in Lake City, Florida. Tim had filled his car with petrol on the day of his disappearance. That very same day, before leaving the state. The station attendant recognized the photo of him and told his parents he was traveling alone. Car found. Would he really have disappeared of his own free will to start over, under perhaps a new identity? Then why hadn't he brought any clothes? Start a new identity at 20? You can create your own new identity at 20. You can become your new identity. The fact that Tim Molnar had already died in 1986 only came to light 10 years later because of Stephen Cull reporting his discovery from 10 years earlier of the body frozen in ice in a woodlot in Neosho, Wisconsin. He was sure the body was wearing the same clothes. They mentioned he had keys on him, and they asked Tim's family to send a copy of the house key so they could check it for a match, and it did match. There was a DNA confirmation. But it says here, the boy's cause of death could no longer be determined. But it was certain there were no signs of trauma. How could that be? No signs of trauma, but you can't determine the cause of death. Question for AI. And that is not here. It is here. How can a body... I forgot the question already. Well, so it was found when. Doesn't say when here. Probably said when here, though. When was it found? He left January 24th, 1984. Body found by Mr. Cull January 31st. Wow. 6 days later. It was found 6 days later. Okay. Well, that's how they knew then. The autopsy performed at the time would have been able to tell if the body was found only 6 days after he disappeared, right? And the body was frozen. It's probably in very good condition. And that's why they say the boy's cause of death could not be determined, but it was certain there were no signs of trauma. How Timothy made it all the way to Wisconsin and for what reason remains unknown. Had he gone himself or had someone involuntarily taken him? Friends of Tim, yeah, maybe someone, like abducted him or something. Tim found it especially strange he had left his beloved car behind because he was known to be very proud of his vehicle. And he left it in Florida, is that right? Where was the car found? Find car. Literally find the word car. No, that's not right. What is going on here? Find car up, please. Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, no way he's leaving his car behind. No way. So maybe not a girl. So they drove to Georgia first before going to Wisconsin, from Florida to Georgia. How many miles is it from Atlanta, Georgia, right? Dragon's still on, making my mouse do funny things. Atlanta, Georgia, and he lived in Daytona Beach, Florida. Atlanta, Georgia to Daytona Beach, Florida. Putting the commas in here. Excuse me. $438 miles. Now that's a trek. And he went home to get his bicycle? Went home to get his bicycle. Then he drove 430 miles with somebody to Georgia because they had to make a pit stop there. And then they went to Wisconsin. Tips and information. How could a young man die without trauma, it says here. I think he fell prey to a predator. I think predator gained his confidence. On a road trip to Wisconsin, though, from Georgia. How many miles from Georgia to Wisconsin? How many miles? Come on, how many miles? Answer with AI. Come on, AI sucks. That's the answer with AI. Albany to Milwaukee. This is from, okay, 1,000 miles. So the road trip of 1,000 miles, which is what? If you drive all day, what is that? Well, if you drive just during the day, probably like 200 miles a day, right? Two days for Georgia, and it couldn't have been. It was there 6 days later. 1 day to Georgia, 250 miles a day. Thereafter, on the road trip, perhaps, and 1 day in Wisconsin. Seems like so many of these cold cases that if you got really into them, that's why I say I wish there was a reward. You got really into them, you might, there might be a break in the case. Tips and information. Tim's family, fellow students, and friends all wanted to know what happened to him. Do you know? Please let us know. Don't hesitate to get in touch anonymously. That's a cold case. I wonder what the best cold case site is. Just out of curiosity. What is the most detailed site on the internet involving cold cases? Answer with AI. The Murder Accountability Project, an open source website that provides free access to data about homicide cases. The database includes 2 major FBI datasets: the Uniform Crime Report from 1965 to present, and the Supplementary Homicide Report from 1976 to present. Also, data on over 22,000 homicides not reported to the Justice Department, obtained through the Freedom of Information Act. And what is that address? I guess we're going to have to look it up, because they don't give it here. AI is so stupid. Come on. Paste. I just copied that. Give me a break. Oh, please. Paste. What is going on? Thank you. I was never clicked in. Philip Blair wonders how much the fuel cost was. Well, he took out all his money from the bank account. College student? I would imagine he maybe had $500 in there. Who knows? Eldergrown asks, AI, why are you so stupid? Zerithian says, AI is so far unimpressive. There it is. Murderdata.org. And the person who designed their website could use a few more lessons. Clusters by county. Okay, well, can we look up a name here? Search cases. Supplemental unaliving report. 76, 2003. What year is this? What year is this? This is 2020. This is 2021. Oh, look, crime is down since 2021. Lower than it was in 2020, the COVID year, of course. So that's a good trend. Oh, wait, where's search cases? Where's the search thing? Where's the search thing? Search cases. Where do we search? Year. Agency. Oh, here we go. There's no victim name here. Oh, these are just stats? Is this all this is stats with no names associated? What was our question to? Our question was, let me duplicate this. What is the most detailed site on the internet involving cold cases? That's, so AI is wrong. You just can search based on location, weapon, time frame, and victim demographics, but not name. Okay, cold cases associated with people's names. Answer with AI. You better not say map. Okay, here we go. Web sleuths. The DNA Doe Project. Cold case database. Hosted by the National Institute of Justice. Provides a comprehensive list of unsolved unalivings and missing persons cases in the U.S. While not exclusively focused on cases with named individuals, the database includes information on cases with identified victims and suspects. Exclusively focused, huh? Web Sleuths is a popular online community dedicated to solving cold cases with a vast repository of information. While not exclusively focused on cases with specific individuals' names, they have extensive threads and discussions on numerous cold cases, including those with named victims or suspects. So either one of these, Web Sleuths or Cold Case Database. Web Sleuths. Today on Web Sleuths. And let's take this one. Cold Case Database. It says here Project Cold Case. We've been there already. Hence the coloring of the link to purple instead of blue. Because it looks like... No, we haven't been here. Okay. Victim name. Let's go get that here. Timothy Michael Molnar. We can get rid of that, I guess. And that. And search. 0 cases found. How about Timothy Molnar? Nothing. Okay, how about Where's the other one? Would I just open one on top of the other? First one was Web Sleuths. Oh, I just closed it out. Where's the search? Accept cookies? Yes, sir. Forum search. No. How about Timothy Molnar? Timothy Michael Molnar. No results found. Try again. Timothy Molnar only. Nothing. Okay, next up. We're going to have to close out Timmy. May God rest his soul. Let's leave that. We'll leave that. That. Where'd our Google Earth go? Our Google Earth disappeared. No. Make it go here. Google Earth. Let that load there. Next up is looks like Gotcha Man is the next up, and then green tea. Stop it, Dragon. And Gotcha Man would like to know about the ghosts of White Point Lodge. Answer where they are. Welcome to Nose Pickin'. I got to check out something here really quick on chat. Elder, thank you for the contribution, sir. Wow, that is so generous, sir. Thank you, Elder. Much appreciated. White Point Lodge Ghosts. By the way, you can look at the description below. And it looks exactly like this. And there you can donate to Venmo or Cash App. And you can buy me a coffee. And of course, there's the gold standard. You can become a member of Patreon. Based on the provided information, there is no direct connection between the White Point Lodge in Nova Scotia, Canada, and ghostly entities. What? There is no explicit mention. It must be a different White Lodge then, right? There's no explicit mention of ghosts associated with the White Point Lodge in Nova Scotia. Gotcha Man says, stupid AI, I just heard 2 tonight. I wanted more details. Gotcha Man is... Green Tea, 60 straight episodes. Whoa. Wow, Green Tea. Kudos. Thank you, ma'am. Your support means a lot to me. Okay. AI's got to be wrong. So we got to look down here at other results. Is it, Gotcha Man, is it White Point Lodge we should be looking for? Is that the name of it, Gotcha Man? White Point Garden. Could it be White Point Garden? A creepy haunted park in South... Where? Haunted White Point Gardens. I think he meant White Point Gardens. Nova Scotia webcams at White Point Beach, huh? Gotchaman says no, it is White Point Lodge. He has family working there, and there are ghost stories associated with it. Okay, can we find that? Wait, let's go to Google for this search, because Google has Boolean search. That's the only reason we're going there. Go to all. And we want White Point Lodge, and we want ghosts. The plus on both of those. Let's say ghost. Plus and plus, that has to appear in the search results. Search did not return any documents, my friend. Huh. I think at this rate, we'll probably get more close to a story by hearing your accounts, Casual Kitty. Feel free to throw it in chat. In the meantime, I'm going to go to the ghosts of White Point Beach. Is that where it is? No. White Point Garden. Creepy Haunted Park. And what are those cams? Nova Scotia webcams at White Point Beach. Let's open that up. Maybe we'll get a chance to look at some webcams. Okay. Haunted White Point Garden, Sandpiper Water Tours. OnlyInYourState.com we'll start with. The Sinister Story, it says at OnlyInYourState.com. Written by Robin Jarvis. Behind this popular South Carolina park will give you chills. South Carolina is home to the #1 city in the U.S. and Canada. Ranked in the 2017 Travel and Leisure World's Best Awards. And we could not be prouder of the Palmetto State's oldest city, Charleston. The Palmetto State. Founded in 1670 as Charlestown, the city has grown exponentially over the centuries to become not only a favorite destination for visitors, but also the city of choice for many Americans living the dream of relocating to somewhere beautiful. Yeah, it is kind of gorgeous in the south. It's very gorgeous, especially Georgia's nice. I only know Georgia and a tiny sliver of Florida. But Charleston may have a dirty little secret that's often overlooked. A legendary haunted park in South Carolina is hiding there in plain sight. Times were very different during the colonial period. We got some good topics here. Ooh. Okay, pictures are good. Times were very different during the colonial period and just beyond in Charlestown. And this spot along South Battery, now known as White Point Garden, had a very different purpose than it does today. Along the South Battery, now known as White Point Garden, huh? What was it then? It looks like it was a garden back then, too. Image, a new tab. Yeah, definitely trees. If that's an accurate picture. The artist drew trees. There's some kind of monument here, looks like, in this area. Plus it. Oops. Don't do that. Some kind of monument here. Wonder what that was. That thing out in the lake there? Or the ocean, in this case. Oh, there's another house there too. Right about there. It's a very sparsely populated, even back then. Today, visitors and locals alike head here in droves. Oh, look at that beautiful thing. Now one of the prettiest and most well-known green spaces in downtown Charleston. White Point Garden offers shady paths covered in canopies of oak trees covered in Spanish moss. Incredible. It's picture perfect, writes the author. I gotta see that closer. Ooh, we should see it from the air, too. I wonder if it's still called Battery. What was it called? Battery something? South Battery. Let's look that up on Google Earth. So it's going to be South Battery, South Carolina. What city is that in? Charleston, right? So South Battery, Charleston, South Carolina? South Carolina. Okay. South Battery, Charleston, South Carolina. Put some commas in there. And go. Let's see from the air. Damn, there's the thing. There's South Battery Street. Where's the park? South Battery Street's long. U.S. Coast Guard Station. Look at this reclaimed land here. Or floodplain. Floodplain here and here. Oh, wait, the road's there. There's a stream underneath the road. Maybe it's elevated. Maybe zoom out a bit. Where's the park? Maybe we should have put the name of the park in there. To wit. White Point Garden. Now tell us. Hopefully I'll be able to chop that right in here. Or pop that right in here. Got it. A little bit more, I would have found it. There's South Battery Street. It's almost the same as it was. Same amount of area. What if there are remnants of this structure with a bridge to it there still? Negative. That is gone. Oh, yeah, I want to see this close up too. Isn't that a beauty? Look at that. That looks like it's like something in white sand or something along the pathways. It really is the perfect spot for photos or photographs. People get married in the bandstand location. in the middle of this serene park along Charleston Harbor. Obviously the bandstand right there. Numerous monuments and memorials have been erected at White Point Garden over the last 150 years. This one being no caption. Or yes, it is. Many of the monuments are dedicated to battles fought both home and abroad. This one is for the 2nd South Carolina Regiment, Army of the Revolution, June 17th, 1775. That sure doesn't look like a revolutionary uniform to me. That helmet is kind of like a British helmet, though, so maybe, I guess. Maybe. Here's another. Says the author. It's a monument with a bronze of General Moultrie, another battle hero. There with his, what kind of hat is that? Is that a 3-corner hat? Not really a 3-corner. Like an old pirate hat or something. Not that this guy was a pirate. Ozymandias. Look upon my mighty works in despair. This not really an inscription. It just says with support from and lists the contributors here. And that's it? Nope. Here we go. Many people can't resist climbing up on the old relics so they can pose for the perfect photo. The various monuments, statues, and cannons give this old park a military theme. However, there's one unassuming monument that sticks out like a sore thumb. And it's the monument that marks the sinister history of this perfectly peaceful place along Charleston's Battery. What monument is that? We'll find out in a second. But first, I want to know if this monument is still standing right here. This one on the corner, the small corner. Is it towards the, right towards the edge? Now, the artist might have drawn it in the wrong position. There's one here. And there's one here. Here's the small end. Here's the defenders of Fort Moultrie Monument. Here. The William Moultrie Monument here. And the Confederate defenders of Charleston here. As well as the Gentleman Prairie Stone over here. Let's see, get a look at these at street level. We can go through the whole park. Isn't that nice? No, let's go right here. Is it the defenders of the Moultrie Monument? Does not seem to be. The one had like a real high pinnacle. Looks like it has a real high pinnacle. Okay, what about the one over there? There's a rock is over here somewhere. Oh, wait. That position right there will be right where it is in the photo. Or would it? Actually, right there. There's nothing there. What is this one? Another statue. What about this one, however? Can I escape? How do I get out of here? Escape? Yeah. What about this one? I think the artist put it in the wrong place. I think this is the Pinnacle Monument. But maybe not. We'll find out. Negative. So no pinnacle monument, or it was torn down when the park was remade. Maybe they moved a monument. I'm not going to search all the monuments. The sinister history is represented by the monument dedicated to the pirate, Stede Bonnet. The monument stands in the northeast corner. Oh, it's just like a marker. And possibly the least traveled corner of the park. On it is a commemoration stating that Bonnet and 29 of his men, that's 30 pirates in all, the author reminds us, were hanged in this very park. Their bodies buried in the marsh beyond the low water mark, right next to the park. Those areas must have been low water areas that we saw. If this was Charlestown's hanging ground, then they weren't the only ones hanged here in this beautiful space, shown here more than 100 years later, in 1900, long after the last public hanging. The website unalivepenaltyusa.org lists the names, offenses, and dates of nearly 200 hangings that occurred in what is now Charleston between 1718 and 1849. Considering the era in which these hangings occurred, it stands to reason they were very likely public. Yeah, it was like entertainment back then, right? Oh, and that's the end of the article. No, it's not. There's just ads all over the place, okay? 2 people were listed as having been gibbeted. Not sure what a gibbet is. To gibbet, what is it? Or a gibbet? Dictionary.com. What is a gibbet? That's right. A gallows with a projecting arm at the top, from which the bodies of criminals were formerly hung in chains and left suspended after execution. So a gallows with a projecting arm, basically. The chain part might have differed from place to place. So that would qualify as gibbeting right there. But, oh, looks like rotting bodies? You got to be kidding me. I got to see a closer view of this. What are the people doing? This woman's singing. Can't quite read the text. There's got to be a better picture of this somewhere, right? Let's try Yandex. Convert and save image as. Go to here. Save. Then let's go to Yandex. Images. We're trying to find a higher definition image of stop doing that. Thank you. It's not going to snap for me. Okay, I got to look over here then. Boy, that's huge. Come on, guys. That's better. No way to page down until now. There we go. That's our target. Okay, is this higher def right here? Wait. What's it say? Yeah, show us the real big one. Yes, okay. They little thought of them once. They little thought of them once. I have had a peep at them. I've had a look at them. They say peep here. And I have peeped too, says this guy carrying the lady. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to turn it upside down. I don't think there's a way to do that unless I save as. Here. Then go to there. This is not uncommon in old engravings. These upside down cartoon balloons. Let's open up that then. And again, page down. All right, now we can turn it any way we want. Rotate 180. Adorn? Adorn-ons. I'll have a smack at 'em afterwards. Afterwards, I'll have a smack at 'em. This guy with the pole is saying. Anything more upside down? Something, something, than they, although a beggar. Okay, rotate back. The middle caption. Though such a dismal sight is here, yet not a Briton sheds a tear. So before the war, before the Revolutionary War, it would seem. Triple Alliance. The Triple Alliance. Triple spelled wrong. Spelled with two P's instead of one. Two evidently were hung up so long that they've been decomposing, and the third one added to their number most recently. This guy with another stick. The world was not their friend, nor the world's law. Other, is that other? Than they, though a beggar. Guy, a crippled guy here, what they might say back then, crippled. Differently advantaged guy, we might say today. What is this animal? I have got my ends. What if I really give a year for this? Oh wait, title on the top. An odd sight sometime hence. An odd sight sometime in the future. Maybe they were hoping to hang the third man. It's a political cartoon, but what is I have got my ends, which this animal is saying here? Did I do plus? Oh, it's a page up here. It's probably a dog. I've got my ends. I've got something to eat, or a fox maybe. Philip Blair says the leaders of the Munster Rebellion in the 1530s were publicly executed in the most extreme ways they knew in a mass public spectacle. Thank you, Philip. Eldergone believes it is a dog. I don't know, you got this big bushy tail here, my friend. Oh, he's urinating. The dog's urinating. I've got my ends. What year was this? If we knew the year, we might be able to decipher. I've got my ends. If it's urinating on the post, though, probably a dog, right? Although a huge tail, one has to wonder. And the very pointy, the large, over-exaggerated ears. Taco says they're probably waiting for the bones to fall down. Philip Blair says, so the dog doesn't like them either. I have got my ends. Okay, could we find out what year that was, that picture? Doesn't say, it just says College of Charleston. Well, let's say 1750. But it was before the Revolutionary War, if they're calling each other Britons. Right? Let's say 1760. I'm going to try to get an AI answer. In the year 1760, what would be the meaning of the phrase, I have got my ends? And they said ands, so we'll change that to ends. And is that what it says? I've got my ends? I think that's it, right? We'll go to picture right here. I have got my ends. And answer with AI. Well, let's put quotes first. Answer with AI. There's no direct evidence of the phrase, I have got my ends. Ends might refer to one's residence, neighborhood, or community. AI doesn't know. Does the internet know? The bitter end, meaning and origin of the phrase. Okay, etymology of ends or the ends. Show more. Area or neighborhood. One who's from the streets and knows what's going on. Your ends is your area. I've got my, I have my own area now. See, he's marking it as his area. He marks it as his area. Okay. I've got my ends. I've got my territory. Okay. That answers that. Where's the spooky stuff? Another gibbet. Is it gibbet or gibbet? Where's that dictionary? There it is. It is gibbet. Another gibbet. From the pirate's own book. The practice of gibbeting involved hanging the dead body or dying body of a criminal in a cage-like encasement. Do they show that there? Caged or roped. Yeah, he's in a cage, or yeah, he's definitely in a cage. These guys are too. A, B, and C. Is there a key to A, B, and C? The practice of gibbeting involved, oh, I did that all right. And leaving them there to decay on display for all to see in order to deter others from committing a crime. The 2 gibbeted people listed in the list of hangings in Charleston were executed for unaliving somebody. It's hard to digest this beautiful park was once the site of at least 30 hangings, as proclaimed by the Steed Bonnet Monument. But the likelihood of this spot being the site of nearly 200 public hangings, and that nearly 200 souls passed here, is staggering. Take just about any tour in Charleston, and you hear tales of how White Point Garden along Charleston Harbor is haunted. People report seeing everything from apparitions to orbs, and have experienced cold spots. Legend has it that the pirates haunt this spot and are looking for their ship to return. But we say there are more than just the ghosts of departed pirates in this park. And that's pretty much the end of the article. There's the ship heading away from them. Next topic and final topic from Green Tea. What do we get rid of? Let's get rid of this. No, wait. Oh, I want to get to see the the cams. Do we still have the list of the cams? Yes. Nova Scotia. White Point Beach. So it's not the same place. How about cams at, name of that park again? White Point Garden. Do they have any White Point Garden cams? White Point, Nova Scotia. White Point Garden. In Charleston, South Carolina. There's some Charleston City webcams. Charleston Harbor. Charleston Tourism might feature it, it says here. Charleston City webcams. Live beaches. I don't think we're going to see much at this time of night. Charleston, Hilton Head Beach, Folly Beach, Isle of Palms, Edisto, Pauwys Island, Myrtle Beach. Let's try Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach cams. Dirty Don's Oyster Bar, live boardwalk in Myrtle Beach. Meter could not be loaded. Not good. How about the Sea Watch in Myrtle Beach? Please play live. And that's live, my friends. Can you turn the camera or anything? No, some places you can turn the camera. Looks like some war shields over here. Next up, from Green Tea. The creepy rumors of Sealy Castle in Asheville, NV. Do you mean Asheville, NC? Gotta be Asheville, NC, right? Sealy Castle is in Asheville. Not Nashville, Asheville. Overlook, also known as Sealy's Castle. The Mysterious Sealy's Castle. Stories from the Applewood Manor. Written by Tom Collins. Mystery has always surrounded Sealy's Castle. Also called Overlook Castle and Castle in the Sky. It has had to endure rumors of sheltering a PD-30 cult, as well as being the center for satanic rituals and human sacrifices in the mountains of North Carolina. Its mysteries are evidence that rumors will fill gaps left by secrecy and the unusual, and the existence of a mountaintop English fortress castle, built by the British, evidently, certainly meets the test of being unusual. The idea for the castle probably emerged from an inventory problem. No, it was built in 1914. The owner had a lot of unused stone on his hands in 1914 when construction on the castle began. Why do they call it an English fortress? Maybe because it looks like one. The upscale hotel was built using native granite rock from the surrounding mountains. The initial owner was Fred Sealy. He insisted only larger stones be used to minimize mortar joints. With construction complete, he was left with massive quantities of unused, smaller stones. That was the beginning of the idea for the 20,000 square foot castle, which Sealy designed himself. So it's separate from the hotel, obviously. It's described in its 1980 nomination to the National Register of Historic Places as a reproduction of Ford Abbey, Dorset, near London, a mid-12th century monastery. Some of its interesting features include a Tudor mantle in the library, which came from an English manor once owned by Queen Victoria. In the great room, with 32-foot-high ceilings and massive beams made from whole trees, a stone from the Tower of London and a piece of the Blarney Stone were set into the fireplace. A piece of the Blarney Stone, huh? How do you get a piece of that? That I must know. How do you get a piece of the Blarney Stone? Using AI. Unfortunately, it's not possible to physically remove or obtain a piece of the Blarney Stone. Has a piece of the Blarney Stone ever been removed? According to search results, a fragment of the Blarney Stone is displayed on the campus of Texas Tech since 1939. Additionally, researchers at Glasgow University. There's a hype train incoming. Thanks you guys for the hype train. Bart gifted tier 1 subs to Raymond Garrett Gomez, Synchro 505, Hike the Earth, Spetty Sanchez, and Sunny B. Thank you, Bart. Love you too, Bart. Been a fan for years, he says. Thank you so much, sir. You're the man. So Glasgow University also as well discovered a 19th century microscopic slide taken from the Blarney Stone. These 2 instances are the only documented cases. AI, you are wrong. There's another one in Sealy's Castle in North Carolina. Now I want to know how the Blarney Stone got there. Sealy's Castle. How did a piece of the Blarney Stone end up at Sealy's Castle? Answer with AI. They're not going to know it, AI. AI found nothing. Blarney Stone at Blarney Castle. The one we're already on. Evidently no readily available information. Maybe their website, right? So Sealy's Castle. The website for AI says there is none. Sealy Castle Overlook Mansion, the Grey Rock Inn. Wikipedia may have a link to that website if it exists. Overlook Castle. Negative. No, it doesn't look like we do have a website, sadly. Well, there's a PDF called Overlook in the National Registry of Historic Places. Wow, thanks you guys for the hype train. I don't know who started it, but can I find out? Hard to say. It might have been Bart. Name, Overlook, and or Common. Sealy's Castle. Classification. Registry of Historic Places. Nomination form. Too bad we can't. Can we search by word here? I don't think so. Where's the search? Where's the search, people? Hand tool. I'm seeing no search. This is how they applied to be a historic place in the National Register. Owner of property, Nicholas Cassisi of Overlook Christian Ministries. Description. Asheville tradition maintains it is a reproduction of Ford Abbey in Dorset near London. I should be able to search for words. Let me try Control F. Because we're looking for the Blarney, right? So Control F. Blarney. Ah. And a piece of the Blarney Stone, reference 6. Where are their references at the end? Loading. Page 15 of 15. And page up. Where are those notes? Topographic map. Interviews. There we go. Number 6 is former president held gratitude for Asheville in the Asheville Citizen Times of 1964. That's where they got it from. Is that when it was being built? It was built in 1914. Asheville Citizen Times, huh? Do they, by any chance of the imagination, have an online... Come on, you. Come on. I just want one word. I'm not going to get one word. Asheville with an E. With 2 E's. Asheville with 2 E's. Asheville Citizen Times. Get out of the way. Asheville Citizen Times. Citizen Times Asheville. Do they have a archive? Search for Blarney. Go. The Ultimate Guide to Asheville St. Patty's Parties. Richmond Hill Park, Mass. Gumwall. Do they have a archive? Archive. Aha. This, of course, this is at Citizen Times. Yes. Yes, please. Add a date. Keyword will be Blarney. This is rare that a newspaper has its own archive online. Usually you got to pay for it at newspapers.com or whatever it is. With Blarney and the date, we might get a hit. And that date is October 21st, 1964. October 10. Already forgot the date. '21st, 1964. Search. 0 good matches. What about the paper? No keywords. Show us the paper for this date, please. $105 matches. No, we want only that city being Asheville, I assume. Asheville. That page was already loaded. Asheville, North Carolina. It is Asheville, North Carolina. No matching locations found. Try the full name. And search. It already has the results. It still has 105 matches. How could that be? Search for this one. Not doing it. It's not narrowing them down. Anyway, we have matches. So, October. 105 matches. How do we look through them? Show map and dates. These are from October 21st. Page 2, page 2. I'm pretty sure it doesn't say what page it appears on. Were we right here? Was it 12? Does it say give the page? 6. Does not give the page. Former president held gratitude for Asheville. Page 2, page 19. Page 2. Why is it searching for just these deaths and funerals, huh? Show more results. It's 105 results. Okay, keyword again. The name of the article was former president held gratitude. Let's try gratitude. Gratitude. Search. There it is. Sweet. Get to the bottom of this Blarney Stone mystery. Oh, wait. Choose a subscription to view the page. Oh, great. No, we're not going to do that. It is at newspapers.com. That's why. They have a direct link to newspapers.com. Well, what can we read from what they give us? There isn't much. There's not much. What's the next match? Gratitude right there. Highlight my highlight, says Zerithian. So we found the article. And for $8, which since the show's probably going to make me about 12 cents. No, I shouldn't say stupid shit like that. In fact, there was a ton of support on this show. I'm so appreciative. But I am on a shoestring here, so. But it is out there, and somewhere in this article, it talks about the Blarney Stone. Maybe I should subscribe. I'm doing research online all the time, right? What's the deal here? What's the nasty deal? It's $8 a month. Free 7-day trial. Yeah, what I'm going to have to put in my credit card, right? Sign in to a Asheville Citizens Time account for access or subscribe. Or current Asheville Citizens Time digital subscribers have free access, but only for the last 2 years. Yeah, that's a little, that's, yeah, I don't know about that. That's, like, I'm cheap. There it is. By the way, this coming Wednesday's movie, The 4D Man, with Robert Lansing, excellent actor, and Island of Terror, spooky hammer film, I assume, on Twitch only. This coming Wednesday, hosted by Gotcha Man. So we'll see you on Wednesday. And make sure you guys get there. Wednesdays and Saturdays, that's when we're on. Where's that thing? There it is. There's our new schedule to remind everybody. Saturday's show, live as you are here with me. And then the Wednesday night movie night, which is going to be a double feature. Until then, may God bless and protect you all.